Recording in progress.
Hey everybody, it's March 7th, 2022. We're in the spring semester. This is Intro to Computers, or Intro to Computer Programming, CSCI 1. We're doing C++, and we're going to start Module 7. It's Advanced Arrays. So I got a little carried away in my last couple lectures by doing multivariable or multi-dimensional arrays. I could have put it off till now. The homework for arrays isn't really due till next week for chapter 6. I haven't even put in the due date for this stuff. David Jones. And we're doing this on March 7th. It's good to put in date, name, and all that good stuff. I put them in a different order, but that'll work. I got my main. I used my run again. We'll see if we use it. Let's just dive into it. Since I'm working with arrays, I don't want to tell it what size it is every single time by entering it in. So I'm going to make a constant integer, and I'll just call it n, because that's nice and short and simple. In general, I don't recommend you use simple variable names, but for something like size, when you're doing a counter, n is fine. We'll do that. And let's just look at a string array. We'll call it my array. Make it n. And I'm going to I'll put in my name. Why not? My name is David, Richard, and then Jones. And I'll make a little print function. So void print array. And it's got to take in an array. In this case, it's taking in a string array. And we need a constant integer that will take in. And I'll come down here and we'll make that function. Here's the prototype. Here's the implementation. I got to give it names. We'll call this arg1 and arg2. And what do we want to do? We're going to see out for int. That's not how it works. We do the int inside here. Int I equals 0. I less than arg2. I plus plus. See out element. We've done this a few times. Whoa. End line. And after my thing, I'll do another end line to give a little extra space. And I just want to make sure it works. Let's take a look at it. We'll do a print array. And we're sending in my array. And we're going to send in n. And we'll see if this works. Element 0 contains David. Element 1 contains Richard. Element 2 contains Jones. We've done this. What if I wanted to change the array? What if I wanted to put stuff in there using a for loop? I'm going to be lazy and just copy this from down here and change what I'm going to type, change what I'm going to. Like I'm going to n, not R2. And I don't want to see out an element. I want to see in something. C into my array I. Can I do that here? Like maybe I need to put, please enter a name. Oh, I don't know if it worked. I gotta do my print array again. Lise, Daniel, Rubio, Anaya. It worked. This should not have worked. Damn it. None of it should have worked. Because it's the IDE that's fucking up. It's not going to work on everyone's thing. I did not include string. And so Visual Studios 2022 was letting me get away with shit that's not going to work on every computer. So it shouldn't have worked. Also, that is not how we do a CN for strings. So this is, although this works on Visual Studios on VS, or I better type the name when I'm saying Visual Studios 2022, it doesn't work in general. Remember that what we used for strings was getLine. And so we say CN and then we tell it where it's going in there. Visual Studios 2022 is recognizing that it's a string and doing all of that on its own. And not every IDE will do that. So we don't want to do that. So let's just make sure that works. Yeah. So I want another space in there. So that's how you're supposed to do it when you have a string. Put in the string library, use getLine. Here we declared and instantiated the array. And here we change the values. Overwrote the values in the array. So, like, let's take a look at that array that I got there. I'm going to do it over here on my tablet. We've got David, Richard, Jones. And we talked about strings being in a character array. Right? So if I look at it like this way, I could, like, this will be the name or row 0, 1, and 2. And then we'll do like, these will be the chars in it. And I've got David here and Richard here and Jones here. And let's say I decide to overwrite that with some new values. And I have no idea what the user is going to enter as a name. Let's say they enter in James Earl Jones. I have all my letters capitalized, though. My first letter. So maybe we should make it so that we can capitalize the first letter of their name. So how could we go about doing that?
Two upper.
We can do a two upper, right? So let's be smart. Copy an array or copy the for loop real quick and just change what we type into it. So we're looking at my array and we're going to do each row. And we want a two upper the 0 character, right? So we're going to do 0 right here as right there. So that's my array row, which is the string. If I could spell string. And then we've got the column, which is the characters. So I don't want to just do that. Why is that? There we go. We wanted it two upper, as you said. And two upper wasn't enough. I'd like to turn that into an integer, so we need to char it. And we'll make sure that worked. Why did it not work? Oh, my array. There we go. That's what I was missing. Why did I choose James Earl Jones? He's one of my favorite people of all time. Simply because he is the voice of Lord Vader. There we go, and it capitalized it. Okay, so so that's some stuff we can do with treating the string as a multi-dimensional array. I did want to point out something else to you. Let's talk about string parsing. Because strings are a string is a string of characters, and like things like other programs, I think like web-based design and stuff like that, everything's a string. So even the numbers and everything. So you gotta just be able to. How do I parsing is like pulling it apart, separating, putting it together. How do I go about doing it? So let's just take a look at the string library. C++ strings. So it's got a few things in here. We haven't gone over constructors or destructors yet. Look at it. Notice it's got iterators, though. Iterators is something that we do in CSCI 2. And like most of programming really requires you to be good with iterators. And a lot of companies nowadays, like when you're interviewing, if you want to be an engineer and stuff like that, a lot of engineering is done with computers these days. So you need to know a little bit about programming. They might just ask you to do some coding up in C++. And so you need to know how stuff works. And so you kind of, if you want to be an engineer or something like that, or, just have C++ where you can say that you know how to use it and might be able to use it someday. Sign up for CSCI 2 next semester. Professor Redden's teaching it. He knows what he's doing. Good man. If you haven't had him before, he's a good teacher. Don't tell him I said that. But you need to know about iterators, and that's CSCI 2. We've done stuff with like size and stuff like that. And we'll use it again here. There's other things we can do. We've shown how to append to a string. I'll do it again. There's also some other string operations we can do, like substring and find. So there's stuff in here that if you learn how to use it, it's going to help you. We'll cover find and substring today. And to be honest, like at this, we're getting to the point where you're going to start wanting to use these libraries and learn about stuff. Like a lot of programming is really learning on your own at this point. Adding more stuff to it, I'll get you pointed in the right direction, but learning how to improve what you're doing. And as much as I tell you don't cheat, and I don't want you to cheat, most programs in the real world copy paste from Stack Exchange all the time. They reuse someone else's code because it's a lot faster. It's not what you want to do while you're learning it, though, because you're not going to learn it. If you copy and paste something, you've just learned how to copy and paste. You can only copy and paste something that you know 100% how it works. But you can learn from looking at stuff online and how you're doing it. Let's take a look at find and substring like that. So I'm going to make a couple. I'll make a string. We'll call it Z. So mad, along the lines of what we're talking about, mad programming skills. Get paid. Get you paid. And if I wanted to append or add something to it, why did I have an headline? There we go. We can add to this. And we can add more text. So I'll like add text. I'll put like, I am going to get mad skills. So I can get paid. Mo money. Mo money. And now if I see out Z, let's see out Z a couple times. And see what happens with Z. Oh, I need to turn that off. So by using the plus sign, it appends it. The line below appends text to Z. Or adds text to it. Let's take a look at what that find thing does. Let's go down and look at find, because I got skills a couple times here. Let's see what find does. Let's take a look at how find works. And we'll say 11 right there. Find, it can take in a string. Let's just look at an example. So we got a string here and a string 2 needle. And it says go find string 2 in the first string. So what's going to happen is, let me put my chat window back up. When you use find, like if I do z.find here, and I tell it to find skills, what this is going to return the position should be the starting character. Let's make sure real quick. Let me comment out this print array shit real quick. So I'm going to tell it to see out the value of find. Well, first out, let's see out the size of z is z dot size. We don't need to count the letters in the string. We can just do that. Starting or position of let's do programming because I can count that. It's pretty easy. So my string is mad programming. That's how it starts. And this is 0, 1, 2, space is 3. This is 4. How long is this word? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. It's 11 characters. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So the last spot is 14 right there. Let's see what it returns here. Does it return the start or the end? Should be the start. It does. Position of programming is 4. Okay, so no, I don't want to run again. So how can I use that? What if I want to break this up? Let's do it with skills instead. Like when let me see, run it again just so we can see the line, how long the line is. That's a long line. Like this is a pretty long line. So maybe we wanted to like make a new line after skills. Everywhere it says skills. So how can I go about doing that? Let's make new strings by breaking that up after skills. So what could I do? Well, the first thing to know is we need that z.find will help us find the position of skills. And I need it to say exactly as is. So this finds the position of the S. So let's say skills is at let's say it finds skills. Let's just see where it finds. Let's see where it says. Let's reason out what we got to do. Or figure out what we got to do. I'm going to comment out that line. So it's at 16. So z.find skills is telling me 16, which means that's 16. Close that, bring it up that window. which means this is 17, 18, 19, 20. That's character 21. And I probably don't want to include the space on the next line, so let's add the space. The space will be 22. So this is 22 minus 16 is 6 characters. So this is how we can do, this is where substring comes in. Come back over here and look at substring. And substring takes in a position and a length. So let's take a look at using substring. Let me make a new string called x. I don't know what it is yet. And I want the substring to go from, I want it to be the first character, and I want it to go to where skills space ends. So that would be, and I don't know, I don't want to type in what it knows. I know, because I found that it was 16, but I don't want to do that. So I'm going to just say z find skills. That's going to find the location. And then I saw that it's 6 long. I need to add 6 more that covers the rest of the letters in the space. If I make x equal to that, let's see what seeing out x does. Does that get me, I'm thinking it's going to get me mad programming skills, and it's going to stop there. It's going to grab this space, but we won't see it on the screen. Actually, I don't actually need the space there, so let's just make it up to 5. I did need the space there. I have my count wrong. That was not the space. Let's see. We had mad programming right there. I know it was 16. Oh, I'm trying to put it up on the screen. You can't see it. So that was indeed 16, because this space is 15. Oh, but I'm telling it a length. So even though this goes up to 22, like that's character 22, or character 21, the length is 0 plus all the other numbers. So it's actually 1 bigger. The length is 1 bigger than this position. And so I'm going to do that. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to reassign z. Let's make z equal to the substring starting there. And I'm going to make it plus 7 so that I have the space. So substring has 2 forms. Substring position and length. Or substring position, which does everything until end of line. End of string, I should say. So if I make z equal to the substring starting at find skills plus 7, which is right here, that's my find skills plus 7. I'm telling it to start there. It should catch everything after that. I might need to go 2 bigger. It might. Oh, I didn't see out. That isn't going to help. And there it worked. So I've cut the line in pieces. And I could do it again. In fact, I could just copy this. And as long as I change the name of the string, let's call it Y. I can see out Y there. And that should go and get me everything. Y should have get you paid all the way up through I am going to get mad skills. And then my final Z string should be this so I can get you paid more money, more money. Let's see if that works. Mad programming skills, get you paid. I got some weird spacing in there. I'm going to get mad skills so I can get paid, more money, more money. Now, what if I want to do this? Like, we don't have the skills to do it just willy-nilly. But let's see. How many words did I actually use? I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. So there's 22 words in my Z string. I'm going to come up here, and before we start doing some of this chopping up, let's do something else. Let's make a string array. My sentence. And we'll say it's 22 big. There's 22 words. We'll make it 22 big. And if you do this, I'll cover that in the next section that we're doing today. We're just setting up a string. I don't know what it is. Let's fill it with empties for now. If I do not that, if I use the empty braces but empty, it fills everything with like a 0 or a null string. So how can I go through and break this sentence up into words? This is my objective. This is what we're going to try to do. Let's break up Z into smaller pieces. The words. So how can I tell where the word, how can I tell when a word starts and a word ends? Any ideas, Lise? I think you're my only one here. Yeah, you're the only one still here.
Well, I would say a space, but the only one that I would be worried about using spaces is the first word, since that one doesn't start with a space.
Space is correct, though. So maybe we're
Okay.
looking at the end of the word. Maybe the end of the word will tell me where the word ends. Space tells me where a word ends. So we could use our find, and I can tell it to look for a space. And it should be, shit, it's running. It should be 4, 3, 3. Because we've got, I got it marked right here. It's 3. Okay, so how can I use this here to, like, let's make a loop of it using what we did with this find and this substring thing. So for int I equals 0, I less than 22, I plus plus. We want to make so what we can do it in parts. Let me make an integer and a temporary string outside. Integer position, and we'll make a string called temp. So we'll call position. We'll do that. That's going to be our z find. And we'll make temp our substring. We're starting at 0, the first character in the string, and we're going up to position, and then we needed +1. And then we want to, well, now we want to put it in the array, so I'm going to make my sentence I equal to that temp. And then we'll shorten Z. And here we had to do 6 and then 7, which is the length of the word. So 1 was adding 6 skills was 6. That's why we added 6. Then we had to add 1 more. Space is only one thing, so that's why we have a 1 there. Here we're going to have to do a +2. And then we got to find out if it worked. So let's do another for loop. And here we'll just see out my sent I. And then we'll put a space and then an underscore and then a space. And that way we'll be able to see that it actually broke it up. And I think the 22 is going to work correctly. I think I counted them right, but let's give it a try. Let's see what happens. What the hell? Let's make sure that's doing it correctly. Let's see out the temp here. It's not even doing that. Maybe let's get rid of position and put zfind directly in it. It's still not doing it. What's changed? I've got z.substring 0 dot comma z dot find. We're doing the spaces +1. Why is that not working? It's just flat out not working. Doing the same thing. I declared a string beforehand. Then here I was saying the string equaled it. Let's do a cout z.find. Why is it not finding the fucking space? Let's just look it up. That isn't helpful. They're doing fine, and they're doing it as space. Why is this one not firing? You know what? Fucking fail. I didn't have my 4-string set up correctly.
I didn't even notice that. I
I
was
had,
looking
I
at
had,
everyone else but there.
yeah, I had the insertion operator. So let's comment that out. Let's comment that out. Just see if it works as I thought it was going to, as it should have. Okay, I got pissed off about something. What did I get pissed off about? How far to get? What the hell? Maybe let's go to 21. Maybe I went too far. "22 words would have meant 21 spaces between them. Which probably means I need to do my last one. Now, there was 22 words. I just need to do this 21 times, so size minus 1. And then I'll do my cent dot 22 equals z, because I've replaced it with what was left. One, two, three, four. Let me count the spaces. 1 space, 2 space, 3 space, 4 space, 5 spaces. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. I got 2 spaces there. I don't want to do that. 19, 20, 21. Was it the extra space, having 2 spaces right there? Did that fuck it up? 21 spaces is 22 words. So here we're going to do a let's turn that back on. Nope, not that one. We'll turn that one back on. We'll turn that one back on. And I'm going to do a system pause between them. This is how you, part of the one good way for looking for errors. If you're, at least this is Visual Studios that uses it. It doesn't have my P there. It's getting missing the first letter each time. Maybe I'm going too far. Let's turn that one off. And do I need that now? Oh, I got my double operator there again. That might be the problem. Why did it not do more words after mo money? There was 2 mo monies. There is 2 mo monies. We can do this. Make a counter. Start it at 0. And then I'm going to do my system pause down here. And I'm going to see out the counter. Maybe I'll put the system pause after the... And I got to increment by counter each time. And I don't want to go size -2. Let's go size I less than size. It's fucking up the last word. Look at that. It says it's 22 words, so I counted right. What is it saying out? Oh, let me put this in. Does that change it? Oh, fail. This is the thing I told us that we should never do. Feeling like a scrub. I'm telling it to put something in my cent 22, and that's the size, that's the number of words. But the array, that's the size of the array, but the last entry is size -1. or 21. And turn off that counter. Turn off this counter. What's going on? Turn off that counter. We can turn off the C out. Why is it still trying to see out more? I'm just trying to find the error real quick. That's it. Is it this shit that's screwing it up? Yep. It was the other stuff I had. Why did it do the underscore after money? I don't think I needed this line. Yeah, I did. Maybe we won't do a space right there. Maybe we'll just do an end line. That might look better. Turn off that system pause. There we go. Look at that. That's pretty cool shit, right? So we were able to take a word apart. Or take an entire string apart by the spaces. That's pretty cool. So that's the idea of string parsing. There is something else I wanted to cover with you guys. Let's take another look at the multi-dimensional arrays again. Let's look at multi-dimensional arrays again. And we're going to look at the points or coordinates x comma y. So I can do an array of 2 for a point. Array 0 is x. Array 1 is y, I mean. So let's just, let's make a function we can use. I'm going to do double, let's make a squaring function. Taking a value. Simple as that. Nice little simple squaring function. And now let's see what I would do for a single pair. Let's call it a pair. It's an array size 2. And hell, I can populate it right now. Let's just call the first one, we'll enter in 1. Nope, let's enter in something more than 1. Enter in 2, and then we'll enter in square of 2. And then let's, and now I want to do a C out. I wanted to make it look like a coordinate, so I'll put a parentheses in, and then I'll do a pair 0, and then a comma, and a pair 1. So let's see if that actually prints out something that looks like a coordinate. 2, 4, it does. It does. Let's comment this out. So that'll make a single pair. I'm apparently not using this run again, so let's just get rid of that shit. So now I want to do like a table of ordered pairs. Maybe 10 rows, 10 pairs. So if I want to do this using this, I can do an array a pair, how I have it listed up above. Which means each array, like if I do array of 10, let's call it my SQ, or my pairs, my table is an array, and it's got 10. And each one of these is a pair, so we're going to do 2. 10 for the pairs, 2 for the XY. So let's try that. And let's just print out the table. Let's print out a null table for int. Let's make it a constant. Rows and size. We'll call it rows equals 10. Constant size equals 2. Maybe I'll call this columns. And so what I want to do to print them out is I got to go I equals 0, I less than rows, I plus plus. And I want to see out this, but I need to adapt it to what I'm doing. So it's not a pair, it's my pair, or my table. and it needs to be row I. So this is, it should be seeing out that should be what it's printing out, but it's going to do each one, and let's just see what it populates with when there's nothing in it. So this braces that's all got all zeros. Let me comment out that one. By doing this braces that's empty, it's populating all the cells to 0. So maybe I don't want to do that. Maybe I want to make my table I comma 0. Let's just make that equal I. And then let's make my table I comma 1, the Y output. Let's call our square function there. What did I call my square function? Just square. And now I should be able to get a nice little table. So I got a table of points, X and Y. Another way to do this is, well, let's upsize it. Let's go to 3 dimensionals. 3 dimensions. X, Y, Z. Which is what all of Calc 3 is about. If you're in Calc 2, Calc 3 is we go kick it up a notch. We go 3D. So you know what? I'm going to make a cubic function for the Z. So let's come up here and make our prototype. And we'll come down here and create it. And now check this out. Now that I've got more than 2, I'm going to do a loop within a loop. So let's do 2 loops. Loop for row and loop for X, Y, and Z. So I got my I going through my rows. Now I need to go through my columns. So let's use a different letter. Int j equals 0. And now we can do j less than columns. And j plus plus. And I need to make sure I actually make that up to 3 now. Let's turn off that one. So what are we doing? This will be after, I don't want to see out until I'm done with the row. So I got to go through all the characters first. This should see out X, Y, and Z if I do this correctly. So I need to do work with my table I, J. And maybe we should do some like ifs. Like if J equals 0, this is my X value. So I'm going to do my table I, J equals 1. And then we can do else if J equals 1. And I can tell my table ij equals that square. And then I can do a final else, and I don't need an if here because the only remaining one is j equals 2. I'll just do my table ij again. And I want it to equal the cubic of that first square. Maybe we should change I. Let's not do, let's do 2 times I plus 1. So we got, the first one would be 1. It'll be all the odds, 1, 3, like that. And now I need to add a little bit more to my table here. And I need to make this a 2 right here. And maybe I can put this ahead of it and replace it with like X, Y, and Z. Now let's see what it looks like. I hope that works. I think I got everything right. So it's doing all my odds. And then it's squaring them. Those are the squares up through 19. And I can recognize the cubics on up through 7. Even 9. I know the cubic for 9. That looks correct for 11. And then I don't know. I'll assume these later cubics are correct. Maybe the only way to make it look any better is maybe put a /t in there. So how's that look? That's the wrong slash. Look at this fool. Looks a little better. Little better. Maybe I'll do the parentheses at the end with a /t also. Maybe we'll put a /t there. I might have too much tabs. That's got too much tabs. Oh, I don't know. Not if I add a /t in here. There we go. I don't think yeah, there we go. All right. So what did we do today? We looked at doing multi-dimensional arrays. We did it with just a single for loop, or like how to do it with more than one for loop. When you want to specify what's in each one, you might do if-else statements so that you can fine tune what's going on here. I don't know that I would. I would probably do I would probably do this same thing up here and just add an I comma 2 or I2 here and do the cubic here. But when you start getting into like, this is only a we got, it's still like I've got a table of points. If I had a full 3D like thing going on, I'd probably do it a little bit differently. This is just like this is like a matrix as it is. If I wanted to go 3-dimensional, where I had another component, I guess the 0, 1, 2 is making it 3-dimensional, but still, I know what I'm saying. Do you got any questions?
Not right now.
No. We also did the parsing. And I knew you were following along with the parsing. Don't do what I did. Don't ever do the double insertion operator. That does not work as a I less than 0. Doesn't work. I think I'm good. If you're if you don't have any questions, Lisa, we'll call it a wraps for here.
Alrighty. I'll see you Wednesday then.
Okay. Oh, you sound like beat.
Nah, I just been sitting around and I didn't stretch. I should have stretched.
Recording stopped.
All right. I'll see you later.